Hello, welcome back to Sprouted Dreams. As I promised, this week we are going to do something beautiful with these arched windows that I have cut with my laser. Now, I went ahead and cut 4 of the same design because I don't have a super strong laser, but you can always stack them up to give extra strength and rigidity to your pieces. And I also want to use some resin and some glitter, like maybe mica powder, something in between to add a bit of like a stained glass effect. So this is going to be kind of a longer process video because it's going to take some time on this particular project. So we're going to go ahead and get our pieces prepared for the resin. And I'm not really sure how I want to sort of do that. If I put the resin on the bottom piece and kind of set that on the back, it's going to look like this is very thick. And also, when you do resin, the top piece comes out kind of sunk into the design. So I don't pour all the way up to the level of the wood. It's kind of has a little dip in it. Unless you pour it this way and then flip that piece over. So I could do it that way, and then this would be all flat, and the resin would be all the way through, and then I would just set this on top. That is probably the best way to go. And then we can just use epoxy, 2-part epoxy, to put our hanger. I'm not really sure how to hang these, because you would be putting this onto a tree, and then the sort of opalescent type of glitter, like if you use a mica powder, something gold, I kind of like that. You don't want to use like actual glitter. This would look horrible. Well, in my opinion. I mean, I wouldn't, this isn't my jam. But if it's yours, you know, go ahead. Black. That would definitely remove a lot of the opacity. Maybe. We'll kind of put that in the maybe column. These are, no. And like I said, anything super glittery like this yellow, it's just no. Maybe. That's kind of like, maybe. I am not a big silver girl. Silver goes well with blue. Maybe. And then we have, oh! This is kind of the same as this, and this is a mica powder, and this is more of a fine glitter, but I like this wine. And the mica powder gold, maybe these 3, or even some of the black in there if it's quite Gothic. I'm not sure how the black would turn out. Oh, here. We'll do this, this, and this. And that will do the 3. Yes, I like that. I like that. I definitely dig that. No, 2 mica powders and a fine glitter. Yes. All right. We'll put the nose back. And then when you pour your epoxy, you need something non-stick on the back side. So I have lots of clamps and lots of... How wide is this? How tall is it? You want to give yourself enough room to clamp on the sides, but not tons, because you want your clamps to kind of get in there. So, did we say no to this? The black. Let's look at the black. I keep kind of... Where'd that maroon color go? Did I throw it away? I must have stuck it back in the no pile. Egads. I think that's going to be it. Nope, I'm solid. I'm solid. Don't even open the black. I like this. Okay. Now, we already determined that we are going to do that, and then we'll flip these. Okay, so that's the way these are going to go. And this one is going to go with the glitters. And I have 3 colors here because I feel like the 3 sections here and then 3 sections here will match quite nicely. Maybe like put the wine color in the middle and the middle here, and then a gold, and then a bronze and bronze, kind of like so it's all formatted. You know, I like things to look like they were meant and made sculpturally, like some sort of beautiful building. You wouldn't just throw it together, and I don't think that the fairies would like that sort of design. Okay, so this is ready in theory over here, and these are our top pieces over here. That is the resin. Now, I am very unclear if I do it like this, and then we're going to flip it. I can't do the... I'm trying to think ahead. How am I going to make the wire hanger? I have some very fine, thin wire. These will not be very heavy. Adding some of that. I'm just not sure. We would have to double or triple this up. That would probably hang the best. Okay. So if we kind of multiply this quite a bit and add our varnish to it, I think that that will go across the back. And we could put that on with some 2-part epoxy. I don't think it would interfere. All right, that's going to be our wire then, because I think this coated wire, this is for plants or floral wire. It's very thin and very flexible, but like I said, if you need more strength, you can double, triple, or quadruple it up. So let's see. This is going to just be too thick for this fine wood, so that goes in our no pile. All right, so that's the way we're going to do the hanger, but that's probably going to be not today. I was thinking about perhaps adding some stone, or I have these very small stones. You can buy these at fish supply places, and they make really nice additions to your miniatures because they're already rounded and they're small, and they just really make a nice fit for many of our pieces. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe, well, that doesn't really go with the stained glass sort of look. I'm just gonna cut, no. Stone is not matchy. Especially, I'm thinking kind of Gothic, like a window you would put in an old abandoned church or something. That's the look I'm kind of envisioning in my mind, of course, prior to its creation. All right, this is a yes. These, I think, are a no. My other option was some of this very twisty wood, and this is very light as well. And these are actually roots that are dry. They give that kind of Gothic look because this is nice, but I mean, anybody could kind of make this. I like to put things in my shop that are very specific. So when you look at it, you can see that it's from Sprouted Dreams, or, you know, from Abigail. That's me. So, all right, this goes in our yes pile. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, look at that. See, that adds that bit of yes. Not the heavier ones, no. But these kind of smaller, curvy pieces. I like this one. Maybe this one. This one has a little loop-de-loo. That needs to go to a special thing. Oh, I have these too. Let's see what these would look like. Maybe for a different window. Not this window. Different window. Okay. I like these kind of, yes, these ones. These ones. And maybe we'll have it kind of one on one side and one on the other. So they're like a matched set. Yes! that one and this one. Okay. And whenever you have these wonderful twisty pieces of wood, don't throw this away, because this could definitely be a doorknob on a larger door, or you never know what you could do with these. So don't discard anything if you can avoid it and you have the room to save it. Okay. We are doing, what did I say on this one? This part? I think. Or this one. That's going to be a bit away. I will kind of, maybe that would be better. Ooh, ooh, I love that. Okay. I will hang on to that one in case. So these three are our options for the wood pieces. So now we are going to get our, these two are our top pieces. These two are the bottom. These ones, I didn't have the setting quite right yet, so you can see they're a little bit darker, which is totally fine. They can go on the back. No big deal. So you want to make sure that your pieces are really sanded down. They are ready to be worked with. There's nothing that you're going to have sticking out later that you're like, oh, I wish I would have caught that. Yeah, these seem pretty set. That had a little ridge there where it didn't quite go through. There we are. Sometimes the laser makes little skips like that. I try to use a bed for the laser, as well as make sure my lenses are clean. Okay, so we are ready for this to be set up for the resin. This could probably go a little more narrow. Okay. Because, again, when you use your little clamps, you want them to clamp as much as you can, because you don't want anything to seep out the bottom here. And then you can put them into something. In case something does weep out, you want to put it somewhere so that this doesn't actually stick to your work area. So I use every kind of small clamp that I can kind of get my hands on. Chip clamps, these kind of clamps, clothespins, whatever. Get them and use them all, because you will need them. So hopefully we will get one of these done. And I have toothpicks here to apply our mica powders. I may let this set up a bit before I put the mica powder on. Let's see if we can get these really clamped quite well. Okay. Get a good clamp. Those seem good for the bottom. I hear all the blue jays in the background. Do you hear them? My husband is out weed whacking. It is time for the weed whacking. I'm up here in big heavy boots because weed whacking means it is also snake season, which is a bit of a drag. Those look a little bulky there. I'm going to go ahead and... that doesn't... Well, it's sort of okay. How about there? I want to be able to get in there. I am going to need more clamps, aren't I? Look at that. Just like I said, you need so many. Oops. Because you don't want this to leak out. Okay. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to set up this one with this same arrangement, and then I will come back and we'll pour the resin in. Okay, I think that we have this pretty well set up. I'll make sure that this is where you can see it. I kind of had to borrow one clamp from one and add a bunch more to another. And then what we are going to do next, I probably need a longer stick than a toothpick. Maybe this stick will do. Be sure you have all of your items totally ready to go when you are doing your resin, because you don't want to get yourself in some sort of a bind with needing something and then you don't have it while it's setting. So kind of important to have everything around, and then it takes honestly forever to set. So I am probably going to pour this and let it set a little bit on its own prior to, gosh, does that seem like it's working over there? Prior to putting the mica powders in. It doesn't, like I said, set immediately, so I'm going to go ahead and get this poured in before, I think that needs a little thing under it, before putting the mica powder mix in. And I think that I want to use a, let's see if that, you want your pieces level too. I can't really tell if that's level or not. It looks like it's off a bit. There. Now this one doesn't look level. Goodness. You definitely need to have proper tools for the resin, and they have to be so clean. And I'm up here at our old stables, and it is not exactly clean up here. So it's going to be hard to kind of do that. But since we're adding some color with the glitters and mica powders, it's not going to be quite as important because we're going to actually kind of muddy up our resin pieces. If you need a perfectly clear surface and you're pouring resin, yeah, you need to work in a very, very clean area. Is this light showing here? I'm going to change my lighting here. Hang on. All right, well, luckily, since I am up here, I can find a nice stick that will work perfectly. I have a small measuring cup that I can see how much to put in. I'm guessing 5 and 5 little cc's is going to work. I am not sure. Or milliliters. I don't know what that is. Milliliters? 5. It's 5 either way. So 5 cc's of A and B should work for each one. I'm not really sure if I should mix all of it or do 1 and 1. Maybe I better mix all of it. All right, so that would be 10 and 10. That's my guess. Again, I'm just kind of winging it. I have not made these before. So here we're going to do 10. It's probably too much. Oh well. I heard a scrapey sound there. I hope that was not a rattlesnake. Huh. Okay. Now I'm going to need another stick too. I know that many people say that it's very important to wear gloves while doing your epoxy work, and I do agree. However, that would mean another trip down to the house, and I work in such small proportions that, generally speaking, I don't ever touch it because the amounts are so tiny. Like, I can always put a barrier between myself and the resin. So if you are sensitive or you're messy or you feel like you need extra precautions, absolutely wear gloves, wear a mask, all that sort of thing. With epoxy, it does bother many, many people. All right, now we've got it mixed. All right. A lot of people use a scale too to measure their epoxy by weight, which would be a much better idea. I just don't have a scale up here at the moment, so if this doesn't come out, I absolutely would go for that on the next go-round. Brilliant idea. And I try to keep this little measuring cup just clean, so that I can use it to measure again. I seem to run out of the measuring little type cups rather than, I just use these little Dixie type cups for when I mix. All right. So, now we mix. And the main thing with epoxy resin is that you mix well. So, honestly, you can do a sort of slightly off in other things, but if you don't mix it well, you're going to end up with bubbles and not setting and problems with clarity and all that sort of thing. So just keep that in mind. This right here is the most important part. Mix one way, mix the other way. And many people use a vacuum pull so that it removes bubbles. All of that is very intricate and obviously produces fantastic results. I just don't have that equipment, so I just make sure I mix really, really well. And then so far I've had pretty good results. I did have one piece one time that did not set, and that was probably due to mismeasuring. Okay. This looks pretty good. And I don't mind if I go over this wood because remember, we're going to flip this over. So it should be okay. Alright. Looks like that one needs a bit more. And again, the super epoxy geniuses would probably crack up that I'm using some weed stick to mix it with. It's just not that important to me that I have this pristine, clear, sterile type of environment. I'm also working outside, and so that gives me a lot of grace with ventilation and the way that it's pouring. See, now that needs to come up a bit. You'll definitely find where you're not level if you have something that's off. See, it's pouring out. Oh goodness, I did not get it right on that one at all. Okay. Shoot, I need another piece of that little wood. Okay. There. Hope that you can see that. Yes, you can. All right. Little resin on the old clothespin there. Alright, this looks pretty good. This one still looks like it's falling that way as well. Goodness, what am I going to use? I need more little wood pieces. I can't believe that it would need to be that high. Maybe I can just raise it up a little bit. It needs to go up higher, gosh. Okay. There. That looks okay. Yeah, that one has to go up higher too. Goodness sakes. Alright. I always try to do this filming like, oh, I'm not going to have to edit hardly a thing, and then it ends up, I have to edit like crazy in order to fix all my boo-boos. That looks like it's going to be way too far that way, but what do I know? Let's see. And maybe what I can do is kind of mix this in. That works. That way I just kind of mix the color in. That's nice. And then I can just tear off the little stick pieces and get a new little section of stick. Uh-oh, see, I just got some gold in that part, darn it, and I said I was going to hold that up. Shoot. Well, let's see how we can... You have to go. Yes. Okay. There. That works nice to have the nice little sticks around because you can just tear off or use scissors or wire cutters or whatever in order to put a new piece down. I'm probably going to need more gold mica powder than this, is my guess. It's not exactly coming out easily. Let's see if we can actually get it in there. Nope, doesn't want to come out. Great. Gosh, this is why I don't do tons with mica powder, because it seriously makes me crazy. Gosh. See, it wants to sit in the bottom of that stupid cup, and then I waste it all. All right, I'm going to go get some different mica powder. Okay, I have set the mica powder into one of these cups, and now this is working way better. It has to spread in there. Goodness, and it just was not doing it. So this is a way better way to go. This way I can kind of get it mixed in. It's no trouble. Much better. And then once I get that on my stick here, I just take my scissors and cut that part off, and I put it in my little waste cup, and then I'm able to dig out more with a fresh new part of the stick and add it where I want it. Like that. Because you don't want to take the stick once it's been in the mica powder and then put it in with your mica powder cup, because it's going to all stick together then. So that worked. That worked much better. And I just need more gold. I have not enough of that down here. So I'm going to do that one there, and this one is going to get that, oops, wrong container. This one gets it. I got some in there. That's okay. I'm not going to sweat it. I can do that one now. Gosh, I really did put too much in that one. There's a switch. I never get enough mica powder in, and that one I got too much. Okay, no problem. We're just going to try to kind of lift that part out. Put it back over here. It's starting to firm up now. Hopefully you can see. See, and then you can kind of swirl the mica powder and make it look real pretty. Yes, much better. Okay. And I'll try to lift that part out. There. Not too bad. Not perfect, but not bad. Okay. Now, this one needs the other. I'm going to go ahead and finish doing up the mica powders in fast motion. Okay, we have the resin pieces drying over here, and now I want to apply the wood edging to these top pieces, and then once the resin part is dry and these wood pieces are dry, probably tomorrow or the next day, I will be able to just put them together and then add the hanger, and then we'll varnish the whole thing and our windows will be complete. I hope that you can see right here, even though I had this base on and everything clamped, because there was some unlevel parts to the windows while they were drying, some of the resin spills out. And that can happen. So just keep that in mind, because you don't want to do this somewhere where it's very important and you're going to ruin some piece of fine furniture. This hunk of plywood is not fine furniture. So, I have these wood pieces that I'm going to use for my edging, all peeled from their bark. And then the next step is to decide how exactly I'm going to glue them on. And then we will sand these down and put them on with epoxy, 2-part epoxy. I think this way. Oh dear, then I've got them both going this way. I kind of want one to go one way and one to go the other. Yeah, I thought that makes for a nice kind of set that way. All right, find my sandpaper. And these are such light little pieces. You don't need to have a belt sander or anything like that. You can just sort of lay your sandpaper flat, lay your wood piece flat, and you're going to get a nice adherence without too much trouble. Looks like this one little, see, this is kind of turning the wrong way, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that little edge off, because it's kind of interfering with how the whole piece is going to sit. And this is curvy enough. If you wanted more curve to the piece, you could even add more little pieces. See, now that's going to go in there as well. So we will cut that off. This doesn't look as wonderful of a piece without all those little additions. It still looks nice and Gothic though. Okay, I won't cry too much about it. All right, now this one. And this piece actually feels like it's not super solid through here, so I'm going to add some. Oh, it's here where it's not solid. Okay, that's all right. We will glue that down and it will be perfect. Just go here. This go. Oh my goodness. Great. Now the neighbors are going to shoot. Sorry. Why does that always happen? I always say, I don't want to hear your gun and I don't want to hear your dog. And I hear people's dogs and guns. I need to go more remote. But that is my own private little rant. I will keep that to myself. Sort of. Okay. That is super cute. Okay. Very nice. See, this has a little wiggle room here because this has some structure problems, but once we get it glued onto here, it's going to help it be more stable. So that's actually a good thing. Okay. Now we will get our 2-part epoxy. Oh dear, I need paper. The only paper I have is this. Sandpaper. Don't want to give that up. All right, we'll just set that there. Okay. And the old trusty toothpick. I wish I had something a little better. Maybe I could use one of these little wood pieces. I just need something kind of where I can mix. Let's see. I think I could use one of these. I don't think it'll hurt anything. Okay. I'm going to mix here. Right there. Make sure I'm clear there. Okay. It's a nice warm day, not too hot, not chilly, And so that is another reason why I chose to do this project, is because resin and epoxy absolutely loves the weather to be like 77. And this is just a perfect day for it. So I have very nice weather. Okay, now let's look at this. Where's this gonna go? Here and here and here and there. Okay. It's a little bit easier to use wood glue because you can see where it's gonna go and wipe it down, whereas epoxy is kind of like, do it now, do it now, do it now. Now it's too late. So it goes really quick. This dries a lot faster than the resin that we were putting on the mica powder with. Okay. Now I really need this to sit on here snug. So somehow I've got to clamp that. I guess the clamp is going to be me. All right, I'm going to hold this and then I'll come back and I'll show you the gluing of the next piece. Okay, this is kind of off camera here, but I just have some heavy things sitting on top of that, and that worked better. I started to clamp it and the pieces started to crack, or I heard cracking, so I don't like that sound. So we just went to putting heavy things on top. Now this is going to need a little more sanding. As you can see, the branch goes back further than this piece, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and get it glued on, and then we'll take that down. I can do a little more sanding, but I like to get the pieces on there as best I can because these are such delicate little pieces of wood, and I would rather take that down once it's attached here rather than trying to take that too far down right now. So checking on the epoxy here is actually kind of nice on the tabletop here because I can tell how dry it is over there. All right, this one is trash. And I need another little piece of, oh, this one's color. I don't want that. All right. Just going for little wood pieces like that. Perfect. And shoot the epoxy. Yes. Okay. And a new toothpick. And we're off to the races. Again, this dries way quicker than the resin does, so the resin's going to sit there for 24 hours. Okay. Now we have this here and here and here and here and here. Okay. Got it. Got it. Kind of have it up here and over here. One there. One there. Good. And then we're just going to set that on. Just like that. And now I need something heavy on there on that one. So I'm going to set this and then I will come back once these pieces are all dry and we will go proceed to gluing them together and adding the hanger. Okay, there is a lot of noise going on right now, but hopefully it will be quiet for a moment. Got weed whacking going on and all kinds of stuff. But look, these have dried. And it's so cool when you can peel off the plastic. So I wanted to show you one. I did one to test it, and then of course it all just popped right off. But I wanted to show you what that's like when it finally releases from the plastic. Now this side looks a little weird, but this side, see, looks just lovely. And actually, once we kind of get that, this is going to be soft for really a little bit. I will show you on this one. I thought that they looked actually pretty nice like that with the side with kind of the divot. If you do it on this side, it looks, I don't know, I don't like that. So I prefer this side, and then it's all smooth on the back. So that's the way we're going to do it, because that is the way I think it looks best. So a little bit of sandpaper on the side here to get that resin off. And like I said, it'll come off in chunks. You can just kind of cut it with some scissors or an X-Acto blade, and it will come right off, or a pocket knife, whatever. It's not completely solid for a few days, 48 hours, I would say. But right now, it's a good time to take it off, because you can fairly easily trim this without getting like super special tools or anything. Okay. So I decided we're going to go, this side is going to go up. So it looks a little messy here, but once we get our other piece over it, look at that. Oh, spectacular. I just love it. Yes. Okay, so we're going to do that with some 2-part epoxy. That one's going to go there. Yes. Okay. Don't blow away, paper. Go with this piece of cardboard. And we will get going on gluing these up. It's not going to take a ton of glue, because these surfaces are both nice and flat and similar. So it should really go pretty easily. So I'm not mixing too much. Well, that's nice. You get some quail along with the sound of the weed whackers. There you go. Looks like I might even need a little more epoxy. Hello, quail. All right. Yes, I need a bit more. Goodness, that's not great. Okay. Hopefully mixing these two doesn't mess everything up awfully. Okay. Is that the one I did? Or is this the one I did? No, I don't know which one I did. Gosh. There we go. Alright. So yes, we're just gonna all that in there. And clamp it. Okay. Clamp, where's my other clamp? There it is. And a little clamp right there would be great. Perfect. And there's that one all set. So now we go to the next window. Different piece of paper. All right, now we know we need a little more epoxy, not that tiny amount. And again, like the next time I make these windows, obviously the process will go a lot easier. Oh, I wanted to mention too, the gold here that I put is not the mica powder. I found that putting the powder into the little cup and then actually tapping it into the resin was a much better way to do it. So I actually only did this kind of bronze color in the mica powder because it was just a little bit more difficult to work with in such a small area. And so I was quite pleased with the fine glitter instead. So if you do very, very small sections, unless you have more precise tools, I'm just up here at the stables, I'm outside, I'm in the wind, you know, that's just kind of my situation for today. Maybe you have more precise tools than I do, but if you're just kind of throwing it in there like I was with a little cup or a little stick, try using the fine glitter instead because I found it much easier to work with and I could tap it in and then mix it with a toothpick. So I hope that helps you to get your colors in. This is going this way. hope I did that other one right. Yes, I did. Okay. Now, this one, just going to get this right here. And then this. Oops. There. I'm just going to see if I can fit that one. Oops. I don't know if I can or not. I'm going to try to get it in there. There. Ta-da. 2 windows. All right, so next we will be putting the backs on. Okay, I am super pleased with these. I just love how they look. So quickly, we are going to put the wire hangers on the back with some more 2-part epoxy, and then they'll be ready to varnish, which I will do probably off camera. You've seen me varnish plenty. If you haven't watched some of my other videos, you just slap that stuff on and let it dry for a couple days. And then I will show you pictures and video of what these lovely windows look like when they are complete. I am so pleased with them. And I'm sure that the next time I make them, it'll go a little bit quicker. So get your 2-part epoxy ready. And I think we determined that 3 or 4 twists of this wire was pretty good. So cut off a length of that. And we should have something strong enough for this to hang on. I don't need it to be extra thick or stiff. I just need it to kind of be there. This is 3 strands. And then I am just going to put it from here to here. And I will bend that over when it's done. So just a little bit right there and there. Right at the turn of these little arches, I think is a good spot. And then I'm going to clamp that down. And I will clean up the edge here once it's dry. Oops. I want it to kind of follow the form of the arch itself. And that way, hopefully, it doesn't show too much from the other side. We'll clamp there. We'll clamp there. And then by the time I get the other one done, actually, it should be okay to, goodness, I don't know how I'm going to clamp that. Okay, how about there? Okay, that's just fine. Yes. Okay, still have enough to go on the second one. So I think that these came out quite nicely, and they will look great on a tree or on a door, like a household door if you want to put them inside, or you could also put them on a wall, or you could definitely put them behind kind of a cutout type area, because then you could put some light behind them so that the light would show through. That would be really awesome. I'm not sure how possible that would be, because you would need to have, the back of these are flat, so you would need to have kind of a hollow behind them in order for that to work. So I'm not really sure. I will think about that and see if I can kind of video that for the end, because that would be really pretty. I just don't know exactly how you would get that done functionally. Oops. Okay, that needs to move over a little bit there. Perfect. And then this one here. And I can squeeze that one in, I hope, right there. So I hope this gives you an idea. Working with resins and epoxies is kind of fiddly and cumbersome, at least for me. Maybe because I don't do it as much. I always have super high hopes of how it's going to turn out and work, and it never kind of meets the expectations I have in my head, mainly because I'm thinking of light coming through the other side, and I'm not able to do that always. It works well with doors if you can put like I said, same with these windows, if you can put a hollow behind with the window here, and then it has a flat surface with a hollow behind it, you can put lights in here, and then of course that looks beautiful. So keep that in mind. You know, don't be disappointed or frustrated. It's a difficult process, but I hope this gets you started thinking of some ways that you might incorporate resins and epoxies into your fairy garden miniatures. Until next week, happy fairy gardening.